Hello. Two viewers. Hello, both of you. All right, Bob. 4 viewers. 6. Excellent. Not bad considering. I see Mr. Flory is obviously his regular thing now, Wednesday night for him. Anyway, welcome again to oh, that's been badly penciled in. What's happened to that? It's all, yeah, we won't be using that. Just running. So welcome back, Wednesday night once again. I've got some stuff planned that I wanted to do tonight, but unfortunately none of the bits that I'm waiting on have arrived. So that's a bit of a non-starter now. So it looks like we're going to be cleaning an airbrush and sanding down Batman while I talk to you guys. I was hoping to show you the fitting of a switch on the bottom of the boat and explaining where I was going to place all my lights, and I was hoping to do that tonight. But the stuff has not arrived, so Mr. Meat. I just read in the chat there. Rob says Mr. Meat. Excellent. Yes, at least the Spitfire is finished. Well, technically, yeah, it still needs one gun on it. I've put one on. I haven't got round to doing the other one. It is on the wall. It had another accident. Oh, there it is. It got dropped again, and all the front end got done in this time. So it's much better now. I had to rebuild the propeller. Put the canopies back on, and just little bits like that. Oh, sorry, the door needs putting on the side as well. But yeah, you know, it's done. I've just had so many other things that I've been doing. It's just sort of slipped by. I will get it finished, and then we can have a proper look at it on a turntable. At the moment, so yeah, it's sort of out of the way for now. I have been sanding like a Black & Decker sander this week. It's been horrendous. Hi Rebecca. Hi Sam. So yeah, I've been sanding so much. I know my hands are all rough from it because I've been working predominantly this week on 3D prints that I've made. So let's have a look round. So just to kick things off, here's the Batman cape. Now the Batman cape's had a lot of sanding done to it. It's been primed and it's got this gloss black coat on. The gloss black coat will not be staying. Oh, sorry, we must remember to keep doing this. So here's the this has got to be have a matte finish, and then I've got to go over it with some dark blues. And maybe some transparent white oil just to lighten certain areas of the black, and then that won't be too bad. I don't know. I'll show you Batman. let me show you his head first. Now his head, because obviously I had to do a tremendous amount of sanding and a lot of the features were rubbed away. And so I went with the various attachments that I've got for this, which I'll show you in a minute what I've got for that. I went round and basically rescribed his mask. If it's going to let me, there we go. So I'm still in the process of rescribing his mouth, but there was no defining line on his cowl there. So I've scribed that in and brought it down around the chin and under the chin there. I also opened his eyes up. His eyes were very, very tiny off the 3D prints, and they were a bit gnarly. They didn't really look any good. So I opened them up with the diamond burring tool, and obviously I've been over with various fillers, and I've got his ears nice and smooth into a sharp point as well, and that's, you know, with a tiny little bit more work, that's going to be ready for priming and then detailing. So that's that. Now let me show you the Batman body. Now the body's had the most work done. Been over it several times. It's just, I've just gone round it again. It's had another round of filler on it, and it needs sanding back now, mainly to hide some of these, keep forgetting what they're called, the lines that you get from the print. Most of them are now fairly well hidden. I'm trying to find one so that you can see. I think I've shown them before. They really are quite bad. But anyway, we've just got to sand this down, make sure that you can see the muscles in the legs. The belt was quite poor. Again, I had to go behind it to sort of give it give the look of a belt rather than one that's just melted to the torso. And I had to go and separate each of the webbing pouches because they've all sort of molded into one as I'd sanded away. And generally just try and clean up everything. I opened up the hands. I just ran a couple of drills through there to give that sort of look where you've, as before it was just all sort of plastic over. And there was no defining lines for the fingers, so I went along and added them lines and took a little bit back there. The straps that were on the hands and feet were completely lost during sanding. I actually used Sprue goo and layered it up a bit at a time. I'd put some on, leave it to set overnight, then the next morning I'd come down, I'd put another layer on, and I think it took about 4 layers to get that sort of finish there, and then obviously sand either side to give it the nice look there. The same is being done with that one, although I've not really finished it. And I also done the same on the boots to get the straps back on those. But he's getting very close, very, very close indeed to requiring his top coat. So just to give you an idea, his cowling will go on sort of like that. I don't know if that's, is the light in the way or is that, yeah. So he's gonna, that'll be his cowl, and then his head will sit. I think his head goes on. Sort of like that, but unfortunately I can't hold it on without it. So it goes like that. And then he will stand. Now he stands on, I haven't quite worked out what it is yet because I haven't finished cleaning it up. Just pop that down there. So we've got this base, which it's an eagle's head actually. Yeah, we've got an eagle's head. I've got to start the whole process again on that. And he stands. Oh, he stands on that base, sort of like that. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do to show you what I mean by the. I mean, this looks fine, doesn't it? This looks great. It doesn't look any problem with that at all. You would think a little light sand and that'll be good to go. But let me just put a blast of primer over it, and I'll see whether you should be able to. Just give me a second while I find. That'll do. Just to try and give an idea of, we'll let that go off a little bit first. Let's put the fan on. Just, and already, I don't know if you can tell, but the horrible lines start to show through. And of course, they don't look very good at all, and they do look very easy to get rid of. There you go. There's a when it comes into focus, you get a better shot. Yet you can't see them when it's not primed. And the minute you put the primer on, as soon as it starts to dry and go off, that's when they start to stand out. This is not the worst. The worst is normally when you do the figures, because the print head goes in different directions and it generally leaves a swirl, like a fingerprint, like a big fingerprint all over the piece. Unfortunately, they're extremely difficult to remove. Now, there are other types of plastic you can use, but unfortunately, the trade-off is that the other types of plastic are not very friendly, user-friendly. They give off horrible fumes, and they're not really the safest thing to use. So just make sure I've got the right one. I don't want to use my good ones on this. Yeah, so you really need to PLA at the moment is the way forward. Now, there are groups out there. I haven't tried any of their materials, but they claim to do a much better material. Unfortunately, you're going to pay for that. I am considering now of printing items for people, should they wish, like this Batman, for example. So if anyone is interested in that, then let me know, and we can talk about that. You would need, it would, any print I do would come uncleaned, so you would have to remove all this plastic yourself, and I wouldn't be responsible for any breakages you make while you're dismantling it, because you need to be careful, basically. And obviously if people keep breaking stuff, I'm not going to be able to keep replacing items, but we'll see how it goes. I may also be, if people have items they want printing, I may consider doing some of those as well. Bear in mind that these prints take a long time to do. Batman took, it comes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 parts, or 5, and so you're looking at 20, 40, 40, 50, 60, roughly about 60 hours of printing, just to print it off. But it is a big old beast, and I have got some absolutely amazing prints that I've run off, and one I'm working on at the moment which just truly looks stunning. Oh, come on, just trying to... So if you've got the time, the patience, they are really rewarding. I've got, these are not Zurons, these are a cheap copy of Zurons. There we go. That's one done. I don't know why it's got this funny base that sort of... So we'll just pop this other one out. Any damage you do to the actual main piece is normally easily repaired. I can help with little tips and tricks that I've picked up if anyone, you know, has any questions. I'll go over the chat in a second. I'm just want to get this cleaned up. It's not as difficult really as it looks. So yeah, this is quite a big piece. That's it. Let me just do another little bit here that's in the way. Come on. You know you want to come out. See whether that will fit in there now. No, there's still. So obviously that needs some filing and whatever to get them to sit in there. But basically, he's going to stand about that high. I've got no idea of. I've got a rule around here somewhere. Is that about 6? So it's about 12 inches. No, not quite. So 6. It's about 11 inches. 11 inches tall, maybe 10 when he's seated down in that properly. But yeah, it's going to look quite an impressive figure. So go and have a look at the chat. I came in early. I just said hello to Richard and Dave. Dave's Cave. Good evening, Mark. Meatballs and Bollington. Hello, Bob. He says good evening all. Smooth's dropped in. Lots of oi-ois. Bob, hi Smooth. Rob, Mr. Meat. Yeah, made me laugh. Gordon or John. At least the Spitfire is finished. Yes, indeed. Don't worry about Mr. Floor. You have a better class of viewer on this channel. Yeah. No, you know, no, I'm not worried about Mr. Floor. He's in a different league to me anyway. So lower league by the sounds of it. Sam's in. Hello, Sam. Rob says, do you think the other show is trying to take your viewers? No, I don't think so. I don't think he even knows I'm on here. He's not going to be worried about 20 odd viewers, is he? No, I don't think he's that petty. Who knows? I don't know. No, I don't think so. And then Dave's Cave says, can't believe they would feel threatened by this group. I don't think they do. It's just a coincidence that he's running his show at the same time. He could have picked any day, but he just picked this one. It makes you wonder, out of all the other days they could use. Well, you're trying to make me paranoid. No, I'm okay. It's good. It's okay. Right, so that's Batman. We'll have to start sanding him back a bit more soon. We'll so when it comes to sanding these, what tools do I use? Well, very good question. And anyone that's watched the video I've done on the sanding of these will know that they are not easy to sand. It's quite a tough plastic. It's quite brittle. It doesn't react with super glue. It doesn't react with tape. Super glue will stick it, but it sort of doesn't hold it very well. It will easily break with super glue. So to give you an example, I tried to make some sprue goo out of this material. That's been in there a week, and it's just not doing anything. So Definitely not any good with tech. Just a waste of good tech, that was. So the tools I use, obviously, first and foremost, sanders. I've got a range of sanders. The ones I use the most at the moment were UMP. I got sent some, Bob got me some Ultimate Modeling sanders. I haven't tried these yet on the on the PLA because I don't think it's a fair test to use a new product on something like PLA, because it's very, very tough stuff, as I demonstrated on the video with the sanding block that was made of pebbles. But they do, you know, they do eventually work. You just got to keep at it. Now, the one thing, I come across this purely by accident. The other day, I reached in the sanding. I reached into this sanding box and I pulled out a sander. You know, because normally it's off to the side. And what I do is, you know, I'll reach over and I'll just grab a handful and I'll feel the grit, and I'll pick one like that. And I picked the coarse one of the flexi pads, and I was surprised to find out that it actually does quite a good job of PLA. And I was quite taken aback because I've used all the other ones, and you know, they have worked varying degrees of success. But even this really coarse nail file didn't manage to do anything. It just scratched the surface and made it look even worse. So first stop is these, and it's also the last stop, which I'll tell you about in a minute. So first stop, we start with the sanders. Then we go into the, I guess they're the power tools. And I've got one of these. And this has a range of tools in it to fit my cordless hobby drill, whatever you want to call it. I tend to use, I've used all of them at some point, not in this kit, but in other kits. This is a fairly newer one, so I haven't had a chance to destroy them all yet. So generally, my favoured ones are these diamond burr tools here, especially these little pointed round ones. I use them quite a lot, and these are the ones, this one especially is what I've used on Batman's face to scribe in the detail of his cowl and things like that. Then I've used the obvious, where is it? This little sander here, and these are super coarse. They are very, very. It's like Artex. I don't know if you'll get. I don't know if I can get you a close up look. Bearing in mind this one's been used quite a lot. Come on, is it gonna go? Let's come back a bit. I think it's gonna, there we go. And that sort of does remove little bits off the side, but you have to be careful because you need to turn it up fast enough so that it will start sanding, but not too fast that it will melt. And that's something you have to be extremely careful of, because if you go too fast with any of these tools, they will melt the plastic, and then you've got to do the whole thing. The other thing I use quite a lot of in finishing, when it comes to finishing, and when I've done all the main bits, I'll start using tools like this, and you stick a sanding pad on the front, and I use that to try and clean up the surface. And under here I've got all my grinding wheels and polishing pads and cutting discs and things like that. And they all get used varying degrees. Little polishing tool there, and there's the polishing paste that comes with it, although I've got the Tamiya stuff. It's a very, very long process with the 3D prints to get them to a stage where they're suitable enough. Let me just, I've not got it on right. No, that won't go on this time. Okay, there we are, we're on. It's not got a good fit for some reason. Something's in the way. Yeah, anyway, I'll sort that out later. I think I know what that is. But you can achieve great things with them if you put the effort in. Oh yeah, so Dave's Cave says he could be wrong, but he thought he read that PLA is some sort of vegetable-based plastic, so styrene glues won't touch it. Now then, I've tried many of the glues with the styrene, and I have found one that works. Now I'm going to contradict everything I've just said because it is styrene. It's Sprue glue, and I've got a piece over there that's been glued together using Sprue glue, and it works a treat. I don't know why. You have to mix the glue to quite a runny consistency compared to what you would normally have it at, and then basically you just put quite a lot. It's almost like you're doing two halves of a cake, and you put in the cream filling in the middle. So you put a small amount, about 1/8 of an inch in from the side, or 1/3 in from the sides on both pieces, and then you just push the two together and go away, give it 5 minutes, then come back, make sure it's still aligned, keep them together, and it sets really well. And for some reason that works. I don't know why, because the TET on its own is not working. It's obviously something when you put the plastic in. I don't know, but yeah, so I'm using that solely now for the 3D prints. That's all I use to glue it together. I don't use it as a filler though. So now fillers, obviously I've tried quite a few. Perfect Plastic Putty, I used that initially. It's a good filler, but I tend to use now, what I found works the best for me is Squadron Green. I use that. You got the benefit of being able to wet sand this, and then once I've got most of the roughness off the wall, the outer wall, the skin, what I then do is I then go around with Mr. Surface of 500, and I go over very carefully over all the find any sort of blemishes, holes, something, you know, a cut that's not right, and I will just go over them with that. I let that go off, which is where we're at now with this, and then I can start sanding it, and then that's ready then. So that's where we're at with this now. So a little impromptu talk on 3D prints and what you can do with them. And as I said, I will start doing these prints for people if they wish. They'll have to get in touch with me. I've got no idea roughly. I'll only probably do them at cost, really. So, you know, they should be a lot cheaper than what you would buy them elsewhere. Although I haven't looked how much other companies charge for certain things like that, but I should imagine it's quite a lot. So this toolkit, Dave, is it's the same make as the tool, Parkside. You can buy it at Lidl, and the toolkit is $12.99, which is fantastic. This drill, this comes in a kit like this. The bottom's broken off, but there's just holds the charger, and you can pick that up from Lidl when it's in, and they're £16, $16.99, I think that one is. They also do a mains one, which I also have, but it's a bit too fast for plastic, so I do use it occasionally, but I mainly use this one. So if you do go out and you're deciding to buy a hobby drill, make sure you get one that's cordless, because and with adjustable speed. Right, so let me just start this drink, and we'll have a look at my hands are not too messy. We'll have a quick look at where I'm at with the Snowberry. So the Snowberry, as you know, I've been working on it on and off between other things, and I'm going to have to move the camera back up now because this is quite a big this is a big kit. I'll start with the decks. I've primed and painted the steel on these decks. So this bit's not painted here because basically there's going to be a wooden deck that goes from there probably down to about there. That's wood, and then you've got a couple of wooden sections here and here, and we're very close now to having the deck go on and the wood deck being placed on as well. There is a lot of waste when it comes to the wooden deck. They give you enough decking to do the entire boat ship, and it's amazing that on this deck here, this piece, you use about that much between my fingers. The rest is steel plate. You come to this part, and out of that entire piece, I think there's, you know, I'm not sure. I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any goes on that one. So the rest of it is tiny little bits that go on doors and walkways on the superstructure. There's a lot of waste. which is, you know, I'm not too concerned because obviously I won't be throwing it out, and that wooden effect deck will come in handy at some point in time, and I will use it. If I'd have had it when I built the ICM Russian I-16, was it the I-16? Many will remember I initially wanted to do that in a wooden effect, but after a lot of faffing about, I wasn't able to achieve what I wanted. That would have made it a lot easier. So, you know, I won't be throwing it away, far from it. I will be definitely keeping that and using it. So they're the decks, and we'll have a look at them in a minute on the boat. Ship, I keep calling it a boat. So we're at the stage, we've painted the bottom, which is now covered and masked off, and we're at the stage now where we're going to be painting the blue, and there's another color that goes on here, but I'm not sure what it is, and we're ready for them. We're ready for those things to be. Let me just turn that down a bit. Now on the inside I have got tin foil. I've got to seal that down, but the main lighting for just the bottom section is in the form of these LEDs. So they're going to be cut into sections. We're going to have, now let me get this right, we're going to have a section in the bottom, in the middle, and then we're going to have a section off on the side at the front here, and then a section on the opposite side at the back here. They will all be linked together, and they will be connected to a 9-volt jack plug, which is going to be positioned in the base of the boat, probably somewhere in this region here, so that you can get access when it's stood on a top. That then there'll be a special box made to hold a couple of batteries and the other side of the plug, and I'll be able to go to any of my models that I build like this and plug in the jack plug with the battery pack that I'm going to make, and everything will light up. So why the foil? Well, we're trying to see, because I've got so few lights, I can't afford any more. I'm going to try and see if I can bounce the light around a bit, and in particular I want to see if I can bounce any light up into the lower part of the superstructure that goes on the bottom. So at the moment I've just soldered on a couple of wires to see roughly what it's going to look like, and so this will sort of, you know, trying to get a sort of idea. I don't know whether it's going to work or not. And they will be stuck. Maybe I should do, yeah, so they're just going to be stuck wherever, and then hopefully you'll get the effect of the light coming through the portholes there, but you're not really going to see much there at the moment. We'll turn that down. So, no, not gonna. Yeah, I'll probably do some more actually, but that's the sort of effect I want to go for. So you got the light shining through. yeah, I need to think this through, because initially everyone goes, cool, they're bright, and yes, they are quite bright, but when you get them, this is quite a long boat, and my concern is that a lot of the light is just going to get lost inside. But we'll wait and see what it's like, because obviously you've got the top to go on, and that will prevent the light from escaping up. And maybe if we put tin foil on the bottom of the decks so that it gets reflected back into the boat ship, and we'll go from there. So that's where I'm at with that, and sadly I can't move any further forward with that because I'm waiting on the damn components. And obviously I've got to get ready to spray the detail on that. Once I've sprayed that, which I don't know whether I'll get that done tonight or not, in effect that is the hull done, I believe. Got a couple of doors to glue on the back, and there may be, I think there's a rudder and a propeller to go on, but they're not painted yet. And once that's done, that's the whole. Oh no, sorry. Apart from, I've got a lot of photo etch to go on there over the portholes, and I've got the glass to go in these port windows. So yeah, that's my problem. I forget that there's other bits got to go on, and I think I've finished, and then realise, no, hang on a minute, you haven't finished. So that's that. And as if that wasn't enough, I've also had the hankering to start a small airfix kit. Now, I haven't actually picked one yet. I have got, I don't know if you can see them up there on the very, very top. I've got a few airfix kits there. I don't want to start anything big because I've got plenty of big stuff on the go. When I say plenty, I've got the Snowberry, which is a long-term project, and obviously my 3D prints. So I'm thinking of that. I have got the MIG build, which is something I need to discuss with everybody. We may as well do that now, actually. So the MIG build, anything Russian competition. I'm not going to lie, I've been very, very disappointed with the turnout for that group build. I've invested a lot of money in that. Well, to me, it was a lot of money. And I think there's, at last count, there was perhaps 3 people that were in. I think Bob checked it the other day, and he said there was three entries so far. Now, I did say at the very beginning that if we didn't get 10 minimum, then I wasn't gonna do it. Now I haven't made no secret of that. This isn't something that I've just sprung on everyone. I did mention this right at the very start, and I'm just very disappointed that there's been no turnout for it. But there we go. So I've got to have a look. Maybe there's people that have done their thing, but they haven't added their pictures yet. We'll wait and see. But it's not looking very good at the moment, which is a shame. my Bixby thing bloody signalling me over something. So yeah, so you know, I'm looking at that now. With that being such a big well, it was a big failure really. I probably won't be doing any other sort of prize giveaway group builds because you know, anyway. So yeah, so that's that really on that. Well, it's not completely dead yet, but it's looking that way. I noticed the viewers are down this week a bit, so maybe that's a knock-on effect from Mr. Flory doing his live stuff over on his channel. Maybe I'll have to, I don't know, maybe I'll have to move my day. I'm just thinking though, because E-Models, they've got pretty much the monopoly now on the weekend. I think they've got them or people, you know, they're doing stuff Monday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday is their main thing. Tuesday, who's Tuesday? I can't remember. Somebody's Tuesday, I'm sure. Wednesday was me. And I've got to say, I've been a staunch supporter of not doing programs steamrolling over other people's shows, because I just don't think it's the right thing to do. Friday's ISM, so you know, so we don't touch Friday. Sprue used to be Saturday, but now I think E-Models have taken that on, or somebody from E-Models has taken that on. But they haven't left their Monday slot, I don't think. It's very complicated. Maybe I should just do what everyone else does and like, you know, fuck it and just do it whenever I want and not think about other people and their shows or anything like that. But there you go. A little bit annoying, but what can you do? Right, that's been quite a lot to get through. So let's start sanding this bad boy back. Now, because he's got Mr. Surfacer on him, you know, it's no longer a big issue of sanding. Now this, yes, I'm aware it's a very coarse sander, but this side's been used to death, and it is much finer than you would believe. So I'm just going to use this very lightly. And we're just trying to smooth out, his inner thighs. Although there is an area there that looks like it could be problematic. There we go. Good. There we go. Just keep. I'm not wet sanding Mr. Surfacer because it. I know Mr. Surfacer's all right. It's the plastic putty that doesn't like wet sanding. There we go. And it's just taking off those high spots. That leg's looking pretty good now.
I don't know that one.
Yeah. Don't know if you heard that. That was the resident electronic ghost. Not going to call her by name. So we've got these, and this is one of the, you can just see on the inside of the knee and lower leg there. I don't know if it's going to show up or not. Let's just bring that down again. Bring that up. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the, these are some of the lines that are a problem when you just see it on his knee there. You know, and on the back of his calf there coming round, they can be a big problem. And all you can do is sand them, put some more Mr. Surfacer on or some more, your choice of filler, and sand them again and keep going like that until they're gone. They do eventually go. This is the only problem I don't like with some sanders when they play up, is the end comes loose like this, and then it becomes a real problem because it keeps catching as you're sanding and it interrupts the natural flow. Now, we don't want to lose the detail under the arms here because this is where all of his rib cage shows, and And then just have a big brush handy. This is where I find out it's gone missing. Yeah, I don't know where that's gone. Is it over here? And just brush it, brush any loose dust off. I normally have an airbrush set up so that I can okay, and now we're down, further down on the boots. I'll check the chat again in a moment. But for now, and this is where it starts catching a lot when you've got a little bit of surface detail, and you know, it just sort of what I tend to do once I've got this to a stage where I think it's somewhere near, I'll go and rinse it under the tap, leave it to dry off, pat it down with the paper towel, and then leave it to air dry completely, and then I will spray it with primer and have another look at it. The thing I don't like about sanding is to really get covered in it. Probably be better wet sanding. I wouldn't get so much on me. Yeah, I'm just looking at the chat now, so let's have a quick look. Got a couple of messages retracted by Dave Cave. Rob B says, spray the interior black for light leak. Yeah, Rob, I was going to. That was the initial thing, but that plastic is so thick on that. There's no light coming through that on the bottom. I've looked, and there is a very thick very dark grey primer in there. But I will be looking at the lighting before I close it all up, and I'll make a decision then. But yeah, I'm aware of the light leak situation, but thanks for bringing it up. Does he dress to the right or the left? What, Batman? I don't know. I do not know. Now we've got... Now I do need to go in here with the tool, but I don't want to do that on the show because it's noisy and quite frankly rude of me to do that. So what is everybody else working on? There's enough about what I'm doing. Everybody knows what I'm doing, but what's everyone else doing? What time have we got? 9 o'clock. I haven't been on, only been on an hour. Right, let's pop him to one side. I'm done with him for now. Now then, let's brush some matte, a matte finish on there. So what am I going to use as my matte finish? Let's go with maybe Vallejo's matte acrylic primer. I should really pick. Oh, so somebody's talking about what they're doing. Excellent. Rob B this week started the 30-second Liberator and a 48-0. The Liberator. Damn. 30 seconds. That's massive, isn't it? So Dave's on with his HMS Ark Royal and finishing off the Saturn V that's been on the shelf once. Yeah, that's a lovely kit to look at once it's built. I don't know what it's like to build, but in terms of what it looks like built up, yeah, beautiful. Spinning Mushroom, Revel 144th Globemaster. Oh, the Globemaster, yeah. That's quite a big kit, even at 144th, I would think. Globemaster. Yeah, Rob's on about his, she's a big bird. He's on about the 30-second Liberator. So I'm just going to go and get another can of Coke, and I will be back in a second. Apologies for having to wander off, but I've only got a nip through here. And I need to pick, I'm going to get me the boxes of the Airfix kits down, and we'll see which one I should build. I'm going to start one of them little Airfix kits. So where we got there? I've got a 1/72 Hawk. Got that MiG-21, but so we've got the Havilland DH-2882A Tiger Moth, North American P-51D Mustang, Gloucester Gladiator, Hawker Siddeley Harrier GR1, Curtis Hawk 81A2. I've got the Monty's Humber and the Hawk that I mentioned. So, out of those Airfix kits, do we have a favourite? Does anyone want to see any one of those kits built? Bob says the Hawk. I was kind of expecting that. Spinning mushroom, says the Hawk. It's only 1/72 scale. I was thinking of the Harrier, or even the Gloucester Gladiator. Surprised nobody's mentioned the P-51D Mustang, but I suppose people get fed up of seeing these some of these kits because they're, you know, they're always being built. Rob B says the Gladiator, the Gloucester Gladiator. I do like the look of that. It's been a while since I've done a biplane. Then we got the Tiger Moth. You know, I think I'm going to go with the Gladiator. Pop these back. Although the Hawk is nice. There's the Hawk. What colour did you do your Hawk in, Bob? Did you do it black or did you? I can't remember. Yeah, it's coming along fine, Paul. The ship. He's saying, asking how the ship's coming along. It's slow progress, but you know we're getting there. So it's a bit, you know, it's from day to day. It's a bit chaotic because, as you've just seen, I'll do red, blue, and white. No, this one's definitely not red, blue, or white. I don't know now. Maybe I'll do the hawk. That does look quite nice. And that black. Yeah, I think I'll do that. We have a winner. Yeah, so as you see, I started on the. I've done a bit of Batman. I was going about to do Batman's cloak, and then at the last minute, I've pulled another kit off the shelf. It's yes, it's very chaotic. There was a time when I only built one kit at a time, and that was it. But now things are a bit all over. Oh, there's the decals in the bottom. There's quite a lot of decals there. Damn, there is a lot. Oh well, might be interesting to do a little one again. Got the old style instructions, all in black and white. Right. It seems strange doing a tiny 1/72 kit after working for so long on big stuff. Come along, where are you? There we go. Let's get you out. Keep you all in the box. Get rid of the bag. Nothing in the bag. Pop that shelf back up there. And let's have a look. So we're looking for the two. There's the two men. This is some. I think this is their older plastic before they changed it, because this has got a very grey look to it. It's not got that traditional bluey grey look that Airfix plastic has. So these are going to be a nightmare to paint, and I'm not quite sure whether I'll use them yet. I really don't know whether I'm going to use them. So we've got the arms. They got no, so they need to be severed neatly. It's him. Oh, nearly dropped a piece. Oh, I took a bit too much off there. I think I've just chopped the top of his shoulder off. There we go. So that's the one there. And then we've got the canopies going together. Not the canopy, the yeah, it's very tiny, isn't it? So we need an equally tiny file sander. So this is a job for either a thinny stick it's too smooth. Too smooth. Let's go with that one. We'll go with one of the flexi-file ones. I am quite impressed with these lately, these flexi-file ones. The only trouble is that they're fairly difficult to... I can't seem to find anywhere that will sell just a couple of these or just the strips that go on the... You know, I just want, I don't know, 5 of those. You've got to buy like a starter pack for 15 quid. Now, is that meant to be like that? Is that part of the... Oh, damn, they're too small. Wow, that's just like... I could barely see it because of my sausage fingers. I've already gone off this build. I can't be doing with that. Sorry, folks. That's just... I can't be doing with that. My mind's just not there for this at the moment. That's just too small. I've got to say, I've been building mainly 1/24th, 1/32nd, and every time I come back and pick up, you know, a 1/72nd or a small 1/48th kit, I don't enjoy it. So I think by building some of the bigger kits, I've effectively knocked myself out of the running for doing any of the 1/72nd stuff. It's just too small, much too small for me to, you know. So what I need is a bit of tape. Where's my... Here we go. Handy little tip if ever you've got to put some small pieces back. So just tear a bit of your Tamiya tape off. Stick your man with his legs on, with his arms, sorry, in there. And then fold it over. And then stick the other man, the other side. Stick him in there. And then a little bit of post-it note. And a post-it note 2 times man in Tamiya tape. That way, when you're emptying the bag, you don't think, oh, there's a little bit of tape in there, I better throw it out. So, sorry about that, not going through with that, but I just can't be dealing with that. That put me instantly off that kit. I know, petty, I'm petty. Yeah, it's just too small, much too small. So I may look at selling off me 1/72 ones. I don't think I've got too many. I'm okay with the bikes and cars. 1/25. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the big 1/72. Like I've got a Victor K Mark II up there. Now I'll be okay with that. That's a big size, you know, that's fairly big kit, even though it's 1/72. So I shall do that. But I think the other ones I'm going to look at selling them. Is that? No, the Wing Nut Wings one is 1/32. That's all right. An horrible feeling there for a minute. It was might be okay with some of the MIGs. But we will wait and see. Anyway, it's 25 past 9. I think we'll wrap it up there, to be honest. Not been too many viewers in tonight. They're probably over at Mr. Flory's camp. I don't think... yeah, I've got the Sky Raider. I've got the Zukimura Sky Raider, Rob, which is it 1/32. I'm looking forward to doing that, but it's like one of my most expensive kits, and my dilemma is I may have to sell that. But we'll wait and see. So thanks for watching. If you want to come in on the offline now, because obviously I carry on now, and I have an offline hangout. If you want to drop in on that, it's the same link that everyone used to if you wanted to come in and join this, which is up on the channel. And I will see you in there very soon. So thanks for watching, and I will see you all next week. Bye for now.